Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Spaniard School. This is episode number 53, Planning Your Future. And a little bit of an introduction before I kick off this episode. I'm the Spaniard, your host, former Spanish teacher and UFC fighter. And I created this podcast to help you, high schoolers, middle schoolers, navigate the ups and downs in life. And so every week I'm bringing to you a new topic that either comes directly from you / your classmates and or my own experiences when I was your age. And I use my past career as a professional fighter to teach and inspire you probably most to keep going when you don't think you can. I battle with fear and self-doubt and negative thoughts and felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. And so this is part of my mission. This podcast is part of my mission to help you through those times. And today's episode is number 53, Planning Your Future. And to give you a little bit of a backstory, I did a presentation not too long ago. And after the presentation, I had a grown-up, a professional, come up to me and say, "Hey, how long after you were teaching did you decide to leave teaching?" And this particular person was in a situation where they were at a point in life that they were in a career, but were thinking about moving careers, switching careers, but it's very difficult to do. So I thought I'll try to address this problem while you're young and to kind of help use my experiences to help put you on the right, on a not the right path, but a path, and to help you understand some things about planning your future. So I'm going to talk about your likes. I'm going to talk about your passions. I'm going to talk about your skills. And I'm also going to talk about your characteristics or your traits as a person. And, you know, when I was young, I was thinking in the here and now. That's oftentimes what young people do. They think in the here and now, the short term, as opposed to the long term. And that affects the choices you make, the decisions you make, but also thinking in terms of planning your future. If you can think of the things that you like to do, the things you're passionate about, but also the skills you have, the character traits that you have. Are you an introvert? Are you an outrovert? Do you like being in front of the camera? Do you like doing behind the scenes work? Are you very good at analyzing data? Are you good at editing your film, your movies on YouTube, et cetera? So I'm going to work with you to kind of combine all of those things together to offer you a path forward while you plan your future. Something to ask right now, you know, maybe you're 13, maybe you're 17, doesn't matter. Ask yourself, what do you want for your future? What do I want for my future? And if you're in class, hit pause and answer that question out loud. But what do you want for your future? What type of life do you want? Maybe you'll say $1 million, beautiful sunshiny beaches. I want to be in the mountains. I want to hang out with my friends all the time. I want to live a simple life. I just want to travel in an RV. All these different things, but ask yourself what you want right now. Doesn't have to be the answer that you give yourself forever, but right now in this minute, what do you want? As you're thinking through that, ask yourself, do you want safety and security? Do you want risk and adventure? Or do you want kind of a mix of the two? Because as you're planning, it sounds easy to say, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be an influencer. Is that possible? Sure, it's possible. There are people that do it, but there's no guarantee and there's a lot of work that goes behind it. All of this, you know, what I've said before prior and what I'm about to say is based on this, right? If you're going to take anything I say and really adhere to it or follow it, first and foremost, it's based on a few principles, life principles that I think are going to help you plan your future and then live out that plan. Everything I'm saying is based on integrity, that you're an integritous person, if that's a word, that you maintain integrity. Integrity, very simply put, is doing the right thing. Oftentimes it's doing the right thing when no one is looking. It's making the better choice on a regular basis. You know, the teacher leaves the room, the answer sheet's on the desk, you know, you could take it and cheat and write all the answers down, but you don't do it, right? That's integrity. Now, I'm not about to say that I am a 100% integritous person. I've made mistakes. I've made not good decisions in my past, but I live with that ideal, right? I aim to be an integritous person, to live with integrity. Everything I talk about is based on hard work. It's putting in the time. It's not taking shortcuts. It's not taking the easy way out. It's not cutting corners. Again, these things that I'm talking about, the integrity, the hard work, these are so important while you're planning the future that you want. Perseverance. So we have hard work, we have integrity, we have perseverance. Perseverance is basically not giving up. Perseverance is committing yourself to something. Maybe it's a sport, maybe it's an instrument, maybe it's grades, maybe it's self-care, it could be anything. Perseverance is keeping going, right? Perseverance is not stopping when things get difficult. So we have integrity, we have hard work, we have perseverance, we have discipline. Discipline, again, as you're planning your future, discipline is like basically doing what you should do, but what you don't want to do. So I work out nearly every day, and nearly every single morning when I wake up, I don't want to work out. I want to stay in my comfy bed, and it's cold. This is winter. I don't want to work out. I want to stay in my bed, but I don't. I get out of bed and I do the thing, right? So that's discipline. Simply put, doing the thing you don't want to do, but you should do. And then some more work, right? So those are just some principles. It's kind of like the step 2. The step 1 is, what are your likes? What are your passions? What are your skills? What are your character or your personality traits? Now we're understanding the next part of that. Hey, as I plan my future, these things are important. Integrity, discipline, hard work, perseverance. Did I forget any? More work. All of those things in time equal I'm going to say a better, happier / more at peace you, me, everyone. I believe in those things that I'm talking about. So what you might want to do, you have those likes, you have your character traits. Now kind of start creating a path. Do a self-audit, right? Look at yourself in the mirror. I like this. I'm passionate about that. I'm really good at this. I'm really good at that. And then see where those things marry. See where those things kind of come together, and then ask yourself, hey, could I make a career out of that? My personal story, I love wrestling, and I was super passionate about Spanish. And so I became a Spanish teacher and a wrestling coach. Boom. From that point, my next career as a professional fighter, I kind of got bored coaching and teaching, and I wanted to get back, in the ring. I wanted to get back into competitive sports. And so professional fighting. Well, what am I good at? I'm good at wrestling. I could learn the techniques of fighting. I'm very determined. I'm very disciplined. Like, I took my likes, I took my wants, I took my skills, and that made me choose professional fighting. From professional fighting, when I transitioned out of professional fighting, well, what do I like? I like being in front of people. I like being in front of a microphone. I like telling my story. I like inspiring people. I have an interesting story as a professional fighter. Boom. That led me to speaking and writing books and hosting podcasts. So I'm taking the things I'm talking to you about, your likes, your passions, your skills, what type of life you want, a lot of security, adventure in the middle, and you mold those things together to create your path. Now, some extras here that I want to add. Your future when you're making decisions, right? Whether you're in middle school planning for high school, or you're in high school planning for the next phase of your life, college, work, travel, whatever it is, understand that your future doesn't have to be linear, meaning it doesn't have to be a straight line. There can be lefts and rights, and there probably will be setbacks and challenges along the way. When I started out as a Spanish teacher, if you're watching this video, you can see, like, it wasn't like Spanish teacher straight line to where I'm at today. It was Spanish teacher, total turn to professional fighting, and then like a diagonal slant to what I'm doing now. And then what I do in the future, I don't know. I love doing what I'm doing, but if I choose to do something else, I'll pick something the way I've picked everything. I'll look at my skills, my characteristics, likes, passions, etc. So your future does not, and most likely will not, be a straight line. So you can let that pressure off. If you make a choice now, you might realize in a year that, hey, that wasn't the best choice. Now I'd prefer to do that other thing. And then you can do that other thing, assuming that we're maintaining this integrity and discipline and commitment and hard work that I'm talking about. Another thing to consider is a safety net. as you plan your future, there are some people that have the mindset of, there's a saying, burning all the bridges, meaning I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to burn the bridges so I cannot return. I don't do that. I set up a safety net. I set up a safety plan, but I take that safety plan and I put it in a lockbox and I bury it deep in a closet. And I never think back to that safety net. When I left teaching for fighting, I had money in the bank. When I left fighting for speaking, I had money in the bank. I have different things that I'm able to do along the way to help me continue to make money so I'm not super stressed. Now, you'll meet someone else who says they prefer to burn all the bridges. That is not me. I don't do that. I set up safety nets, but then I bury that safety net in a lockbox and I forget about it. Another thing to consider is to, if you can, as you plan out your future, try to stack things one on top of another. So, for example, I didn't choose professional fighting and then pick breeding dogs, right? That's like the most far apart off the top of my head. I didn't plan for that, but they have nothing to do with each other. I know nothing about breeding dogs or selling dogs or anything like that. So as you're planning for your future, try to stack your choices on top of each other. So you're building momentum, or you're gaining steam, or you can use the things that you've done in the past in your new job, career path, et cetera. So I use, the things I do today, speak in front of a microphone. I used to do interviews before fights and after fights. I used to record video blogs before fights and after fights. So I'm able to do those things now that I used to do before. I incorporate my Spanish whenever, wherever I can. When I do school assemblies, I use my teaching skills, classroom management, to do school assemblies. So you're able to use your old skills in your new path or career. And then the last thing I want to say is that it's never too late. So many times we feel like it's all over. I can't do that. It's never too late. There are story after story after story after story of people who make changes, change careers, change houses, change, you name it, right? It's never too late. And I know that it can feel overwhelming, and it can feel like I'm so invested in this path that I can't go back. If not my story, then I promise you can find a story, probably by Googling like changing careers or planning for your future. You can find stories of people who they make plans and they stick to that plan, and they're able to make a change in their lives if they want to. So this has been episode number 53, Planning Your Future. We've talked about your likes, your passions, your skills, your character traits. We've talked about taking a self-audit where you actually like write down, hey, what do I like? What am I passionate about? What am I good at? And then you kind of like use that list to figure out, okay, what are some possibilities that I could do? We've talked about important principles of integrity and perseverance and discipline, hard work that will help you plan your future, and it'll help make a happier, better you. And then we've learned that your future is not just a straight line. So don't be surprised or afraid if there's left and right turns all along. You got two different perspectives on safety nets. Sometimes people burn all the bridges. Sometimes they don't. Find out what's comfortable for you. Ask yourself, do I want a lot of risk? Do I want a little bit of risk? Stack and build your path, your careers, your jobs along the way. Have one build on another if possible. And then lastly, remember, it's never too late, right? It's never too late to make a change. I hope you enjoyed this. Every Tuesday, I'm coming back with a new episode here on Spaniard School of Student Podcast. You can follow on YouTube as well, youtube.com/Charlie Spaniard, or search out Spaniard School on your podcast app. My social media handles, if you want to reach out to me and give me a topic you'd like me to discuss on this show, is at Charlie Spaniard. Probably Instagram is the best way to reach me. My website, charliespaniard.com, if you're interested in booking me for a speaking program and meet and greet at your school. Thanks for tuning in.